If you clicked on this video, you're most likely wanting to know how to buy a house here in Middle Georgia here in 2025. With rising interest rates, competitive markets, and an unbelievable amount of loan options, it may be difficult to even start this journey. Well, by the end of this video, I'm going to show you absolutely everything that you need to know in order to confidently and smartly purchase a home here in our area. And also, if we haven't had the honor of meeting yet, my name is Luke. I actually moved here to Middle Georgia back in 2020 when I got out of the United States military, and I know this area now like the back of my hand. So if you are relocating, I have your back for life. It would be an honor to be able to serve you and your family. So if anytime you need any advice when buying, selling, or investing in real estate, shoot me a text message, 478-888-7808. I would love to be able to serve you and your family. But let's get into this video and let me break down step by step exactly what you need to do in order to save some money. And just to start things off, let's talk a little bit about why Middle Georgia is such a great place to buy compared to all of these other places, not only in the United States, but why Middle Georgia specifically. And my number one reason right off the bat is the median home price. Here in our local area, the average home price is only $252,000, while you go up to Atlanta, the exact same house that you could get for $252,000, depending on the suburb, is going to be anywhere between $400,000 and $600,000 for the exact same land, exact same square footage. And another thing that hits you in the face, okay, is 0.87% for property taxes. It is considerably lower than the United States average. And also here in Middle Georgia, you're really close to Robins Air Force Base, which is the #1 largest industrial complex here in the state of Georgia, which means finding work is not going to be too difficult. But when you start the home buying journey, this is step number one. You need to be able to get pre-approved. And what a pre-approval letter is saying, hey, home seller, I have this sheet of paper that says that I can actually back up what I say when I make an offer. It takes anywhere between 24 hours and 48 hours in order to get a pre-approval. And if you need the best loan officer here in the local area, go with Mitch Tucker. He is an Air Force veteran. He's actually in the Air National Guard. He went from active duty to the Guard, and he's the best that I know. He's even serviced my homes in the past, one of my good buddies too, and you can use whoever you want. I just like going with the best, and he is truly the best in the area. Now let's talk a little bit about home affordability before you get started, okay? The reason I say start with a pre-approval is because the bank is going to let you know how much money that you can truly borrow, and you're gonna have what's called a debt to income ratio. You do not want to be house poor, so really coming up with a good budget. And Mitch, like I talked about earlier in this video, he will go with you step by step to actually show you how much you can afford, not just on paper, but also with your lifestyle. Because a lot of people don't realize that in the local area, when you take the median range of income, they really can only truly afford a $300,000 home, because we have things like entertainment, healthcare, right? You want to be able to go out on a vacation from time to time. You maybe want to go out with friends and be able to buy some food, or maybe donate to your local church, right? You want to make sure that you're not house poor, and you want to make sure that you get the budget dialed in before getting started. Next on the list, I always want to talk about neighborhoods. Now, you might be somebody that doesn't want to live in a neighborhood and don't want to worry about HOAs and all of that stuff, but hear me out for just a second. You don't need to live in a neighborhood, but you really need to be able to pick out a section of the city in which you would like to live. Because Warner Robins is the hub, right next to Centerville, then Byron. You go a little bit south, you have places like Kathleen, Bonaire, Perry, maybe even Elko. You go north, you're in Macon. You really want to dial in the central location that's important to you, so you need to be able to figure out school systems. What about your commute to work? What about amenities? What kind of grocery stores do you want to be next to? Or maybe your children are going to be enrolled in sports. That's going to be a huge depiction on which school systems that you're in, or if you go the private route. So you want to really dial in that specific location. And if you're not familiar with this local area, I'd love to be able to get on a phone call with you, 478-888-7808, and really dial you in so that you can begin to know the local area. And a little advantage that I have is for the last 72 years, I've had family in this area, now on my wife's side, that know these streets like the back of their hand. And also with me living here as long as I have and selling houses here for years, I have been to every single neighborhood. I know every single school system, and I go to all of the same tasty food places that you most likely want to go to. So just shoot me a call. I'd love to be able to walk you in and dial you into what's going to work best for you and your family. Now, step number 4, I'm gonna brag on myself here for a second because on average, I help families save a little over $10,000 per transaction. You don't have to use a real estate agent. You can go straight through to the attorney's office. But the reason I would use me is because I can walk you step by step the entire process. I can do all of your documentation for you. I can help you, most importantly, with negotiations to be able to get you the best deal possible. So maybe you're not in this local area. Please still shoot me a text message. I would love to be able to interview agents on your behalf just to be able to help you out, because this is a huge factor. You need to make sure that you're working with a professional that doesn't just have a certain amount of years in the business. You want evidence. You want to see their track record. Ask them for the deals that you've done in the past and ask for their average savings that they get on each client. If they can't produce that for you, might be a red flag. Next on the list, you've been going out and seeing houses with your real estate agent, and now you found the perfect home. What now? We go to the offer. So you went with your agent, you have your pre-approval letter, and you're like, you know what? This is the one. What do? You draft up what's called a purchase and sale agreement, and your agent is going to most likely be a part of the board of realtors, and they're going to have this attorney written proper documentation out that's going to keep you safe while going through this process with the attorney. You're going to see things like offer price. You're going to see things like due diligence period and different dates and all of these agreements that we need to craft to make sure that you not only get the best deal possible, but you're also safe throughout the entire journey. Because this is a very strategic and very important part, because we still have to go through the home inspection, we still have to go through the home appraisal, and we need to make sure that we're not just getting you a home for a good deal, but we're also helping you move into a home that you're not going to have a lot of repair costs after. Because if you get a great deal on a home, but bam, the water heater goes out, the HVAC system's down, the roof needs replaced in 2 years, and you weren't prepared for those things, you could run the risk of wasting a lot of money. So this is the most strategic part of the entire process. So you have the pre-approval, you've been looking for homes, you've been looking for all these things. This is when you kind of slow down. But it's a stressful time because sometimes you have to move fast so somebody doesn't take the house out from underneath you. But this is why we always offer strategic buyer consultations for all of our clients, either in person or Zoom. Takes about 30 to 45 minutes to really go over the strategies of what it looks like in order to properly purchase a home so that you have all the leverage once this stressful time occurs. So once we write up the offer that's going to work best for you and your family, that's really going to help you not only save money, but save time, save on repair costs, and maybe even get them after the inspection period during the due diligence period to make them have to repair certain items. And real quick, how this process works is an offer is submitted, and if the seller accepts, we on the contract have written in a certain time frame for what's called due diligence. Due diligence here in the state of Georgia will protect you. It gives you a certain amount of days to do your due diligence, hire a home inspector, and figure out if there's anything wrong with the home that the seller didn't mention on what's called the property disclosure. So what the seller is supposed to do is if they know anything that's wrong with the property, anything that's staying with the property, they're supposed to put it on the property disclosure, but it's just off the top of their head. Anything that comes to mind, they write down. I don't always trust these. So the reason is I want to make sure that you're protected. And that document you're going to read over, you're going to sign, or maybe even negotiate depending on what stays with the home during the offer period. But once that gets accepted, we're going to have one of the best home inspectors in our local area, top to bottom for 2 to 3 hours, going through the property to make sure it is what we think it is. We're going to check plumbing. We're going to check, the water heater, the HVAC system, the roof. Go from top to bottom to make sure that what you're buying truly is to the eye what you thought it was. Because when you start opening up covers and you start getting a GoPro and putting it up on the roof and seeing those cracks and seeing shingles that have fallen off and seeing rot and seeing maybe some termite damage underneath the house that we didn't see when we were just so excited looking at a home, that's where you are protected. And also understand this, you can renegotiate your offer after your findings. So not only should you kind of be stressed out during the offer because it's a bunch of unknown, we take that completely off the table and we make everything known during the due diligence period to make sure that you're comfortable and confident when buying the home and to make sure that that's the home that you truly need to move into at the end of the day. And once you get through that, you're going to be moving into your new home. But let me leave you with a couple insider tips just so you can be confident during this process. Where are interest rates currently right now going into 2025? We're sitting somewhere between 6 to 7%, depending on what your credit is. Also, one of the things that you're going to be speaking with your lender about is something called closing costs. So closing costs can range anywhere between 2 and 5% of the total home here in the local Middle Georgia area. And last but not least, buyer demand is increasing here in the local area because jobs continue to surge over here at Robins Air Force Base. So people are flocking here to Warner Robins, to Bon Air, to Perry, to be able to buy homes in the local area because salaries on Robins is absolutely crazy. They're on what's called the GS scale as well as the NH scale, and you can make some serious coin working at Robins Air Force Base. So the reason they flood here is because they're making great money, and also the cost of living is pretty low, as well as property taxes being low. It's a no-brainer. And at the end of the day, this might have not been enough information for you to really make a well-informed decision, so I'm going to give you 2 additional things. In the description of this video, I'm going to have a detailed word-for-word buyer's guide that will walk you through step-by-step, way more in depth than I explained on this video, so that you can read that in your own time, as well as offer you a free Zoom consultation. I can pick your brain, figure out where you are, where you want to be, and see if we can help you achieve your home buying dreams here in 2025. But that's the video. Thank you so much for staying to the end. If you could help me out, subscribe, like this video, and reach out to me if you need anything at all. And also, if you're looking to see what a home looks like here in our local area, maybe you're unfamiliar, check out this video over here and dive in and see if you like them or not.